I was so fortunate today to have a conversation with Dr. Jane Somerville, who is the powerhouse, the machine behind Doctors for Justice, and a wonderful conference last week. And almost no, no sooner had the conference taken place than ministers and articles were making a noise in the press and on the television. I'm incredibly proud that I've got Dr. Jane Somerville. I think you should probably explain who you are. You are the instrument behind the extraordinary meeting last week for Doctors for Justice in Wimpole Street, and which has yielded so many articles in the news in the last few days. And can you tell me something? Tell us something about yourself. What is your background?
My background is well behind me. I was a consultant cardiologist at the National Heart Hospital and then the Brompton, and I did a few things in cardiology, some of them not wanted, some of them useful for patients, set up services for people who grow up with things they're born with, because once they died. So we now have a full adult service around the world, which I took part in, organised the World Congress of Pediatric Cardiology as a first. I tend to have ideas and then other people put them into practice. So, and I retired and I love life, and I don't practice medicine anymore, but one gets lots of questions. And I live in London and have a great family, 4 children, etc. I don't think you want any more.
No, no, no. But we met because of your interest in whistleblowing, and
Yes.
what got you interested in that?
I went to a conference with my friend and colleague, Dr. David Ward, who's also a retired cardiologist from St. George's. And I said, let's go and see what all this is about in the Royal Society of Medicine. So off we went to this conference, and it was interesting. In fact, it was horrifying.
Mm.
It was scaring. And I felt, what right have these managers to treat my colleagues like this? But it was worse than that. It was a cause of damage to good people doing good things in medicine. And these managers were just persecuting them. It's the only word. And I said to David, this has to stop. We must stop it. We haven't got anything else useful to do. Let's get to work. And then it appeared that it was much more complex than one realized, as always is. It was difficult to find out about, etc.
But
And
it's
there
been
were a
going
lot of
on.
people.
It's
What?
been going on for a long time, and the numbers of people involved is huge.
Well, the numbers of people involved in deaths
Hmm.
could be huge. We don't know how many are involved in whistleblowing. That's the problem.
Mm.
And the Department of Health denies having any statistics. How long it's been going on for, it did not go on when David and I were in training, that's for sure.
Yes.
Things were settled in different ways. It's gone on since managers have got control, have got power, and have got money. And it's a combination of cover up to protect all those things and a number of subsets of things and people around. It's very serious. It's part of the cover up culture which is emerging in the health service.
But you've got experience of seeing this sort of computer cover up. But have you seen somebody taking over remote control of a computer?
Of course not. I wouldn't know what that was about. I don't understand machines, never have.
Yeah.
A slight problem in cardiology. But no, I haven't seen it. I've seen what might be the effects. Now I know it exists as a possibility, But I personally, of course, haven't seen it. And how would I recognize it?
Yes, yes. But that's the problem. And patients wouldn't recognize it either.
Patients don't recognize it. And it's certainly, I have seen records that I know have been altered.
Yes,
But it didn't occur to me how it occurred. I just thought that's peculiar when you've had a tricky patient. And I've certainly, it's clearly going on with these doctors. And
yeah.
more than that, they are profiling their lifestyle so they know exactly where their weak spots are. And then they know how to blacken their characters, how to find out about them, how to walk past them. There's awful things going on. It's detective work is going on, dodgy detectives.
Yes, yes, yes. What do you think of the current treatment of whistleblowers?
I
Do
think it's absolutely
yeah.
appalling, unacceptable, requires to be shown to the government and thrust down their throats and has to be stopped without delay.
But
You
the
cannot treat professionals like that.
but ministers are now saying very positive things. I mean, what do you think of their statements in
I
the
think,
last few days?
well, oh, you mean, yes, this morning there was a nice statement. What do I think? Well, I better just tie my tongue. I think that it's very good. It's got as far and high up 2 ministers in the last few days. And if I've been responsible in helping that, I would even take a moment to congratulate myself. That's what I think about them speaking up. As to what they say, most of it is talk, not action.
Yes,
After all, they couldn't even action the majority of the Francis report. They just actioned a few things. This was ages ago,
yeah,
2016, I think. Uh, it's very nice of our minister, our sweet minister, to say things, but it's nonsense. The freedom to speak up Guardian is there at great expense. I don't know what they do, whether they improve the coffee or the tea or the dresses somebody wears or the bed covers, but they certainly don't help Wesselborough because they do not have the power. So it's a lovely cosmetic thing introduced by the Department of Stealth just to get on and show, oh, we've done something good and we have a freedom to speak up Guardian. I wouldn't like to damn them all. Perhaps there is a good one somewhere, like a good trust somewhere. But I mean, it's just a little cosmetic thing to look nice, as
so
far as people are
there-
concerned.
there's a long way to go, really. But so, what do you think is the way forward? If I were to say, can you give me a signpost? Where
If you
should
were
I
the
go?
minister, what would you do? I'm glad
Yeah,
you haven't
that's
asked me
good.
that. Nobody would let me be the minister. Far too outspoken. But I think it's short term and
Hmm.
longer term because it's complex. Nothing is one sided. Short term, I think the Department of Health should issue an order to all trust managers, CEOs, chairman of board. By the way, they're in it as well.
Yeah,
Just, I can tell you, a very good trust won't even speak to me about a poor girl who's been put aside. They're all in it somehow, and they believe in it. And they should be told, could you please stop this?
yes,
And if they ask in return, which of course they would have to, what do we do if someone makes a complaint? They log it and they get it looked at independently
yes,
from without. Independence is the key to this, and they need to do it forthwith. There is a process. If there is a process that they could follow, as Dr. Charlie Ashton said, but somebody has to follow it and look at it. They do not follow it, and the reasons why they don't is another thing.
mm.
Then long term, uh, employment tribunals have to be looked at
Oh,
by the
absolutely.
judiciary themselves. It's a disaster, really a disaster, with no recording. Judge has rights to dance about and do what he wants, certainly not stick to the law or administer justice. It's
Yes.
appalling. So that's one thing that needs to be done. Other things that need to be done, there's so many, one doesn't know where to begin. Independence is vital all the time. I don't know where to begin, and you want a short interview, but that's something that's extremely
Yeah.
important, that should be done without delay, instigated, and then they have to look at the trusts must look at their own processes of following what has already been laid down and is just. They
Yes.
have no right to sack a doctor, I think, without outside assessment. And certainly they do not act with independence. They get their pals in, they
Yes.
get all sorts of things. There's a whole subset working. As I spoke yesterday, there are of things. There's the judiciary. There's the coroner is probably involved in part of this. There's a whole
And government
internet,
ministers and the civil service.
the civil service. So that's the longer term. And whether legislation will ever be passed adequate, I don't know. But the trusts get their money from the taxpayer.
Yes.
Shouldn't be given for them to squander on expensive lawyers. I'm not sure the whole thing isn't in part driven by these expensive solicitors and lawyers. They're all in it.
Yeah.
Where is the BMA? Well, since they've had a whistleblowing president, he's come down to try and help them. But the BMA has had a foot in both camps. CQC, I wonder. The GMC is doing its work and is used by these people. And usually they say that the whistleblower hasn't done anything.
Yeah.
Usually. So I don't think we can blame, but all these bodies need to look at themselves and see what they're doing to these people who are proper professionals. Why should we lose an obstetrician
Yeah.
this year?
Yes.
And already the results of the absence of his work and rules is showing in the babies. It's not good. Why should they be able to get rid of him because the midwives don't like him? That's what that's about. What he was saying was true. Why should we lose a Max Fax surgeon, some detective following him? What's he got to do with it? They do not investigate the claims. That's what they should do. Stop investigating the claimant.
Yes. 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 Absolutely. Is there anything, do you think, we should do in terms of government regulations?
I was speaking of the short term is to stop it from the ministry. Long term is things have to be done. One of them is managers must be regulated exactly the same as we are with the General Medical Council. They could model it on a modern version of that, but they have to be regulated. They cannot go tramping around our lives and nobody says anything to them, lying and doing the rest. We can't put up with that. Nor can the government spending money, loads of money. So that's the second thing. The third thing is the Treasury has to look more carefully. It used to be NHS resolution who didn't seem to look at all about the amount of money they give them and allow them to spend on solicitors and whatever they want telling fibs. It's awful.
Yeah, I agree. Well, look, I'm going to let you get on, but I think we should we should have a chat like this again in a couple of months' time and see how things have moved on. If that's
I wonder, we'll probably have an election, you see. So whatever the A minister says now, well, I think we take it with a big rock of salt.
well, you've achieved so much already. You've got them talking.
Yes, I'm delighted.
Yeah,
I'm very happy. I
it's a
think
superb.
together with Justice for Doctors and Salam Al Salah and
Yes.
Ashar Ansari, great people. I think together we did it. And Dr. Wim Blank, who was past president of the anaesthetic section of the RSM, together we done it.
Congratulations. Thank you very, very much.